Welcome to CARDESIGN.ACADEMY, and this is the last in the series of demos on rendering automotive interiors using 3D model screenshots. In this case, this is the interior of an off-road electric vehicle concept which I developed in Gravity Sketch. And what I've done here is I've taken the data layer, given it some transparency, and now I'm doing a light hand-sketched overlay, which is going to give it a much more illustrated, hand-sketched look. So the idea is to take the hard work of perspective, proportion, light, shadow, color, and material, and give it a sort of hand-sketched look, which has a much more emotional appeal to it. So taking the precision of the computer-generated data, but taking away the computer-generated appearance of it. And so what I'm doing right now is just embellishing those details, like the steering wheel and these sort of L bracket shapes which support the rim of the steering wheel, this hexagonal center hub of the steering wheel. But the overall objective of this particular image is to give a more of a bird's eye view of the interior as a whole and how it relates to the exterior. So you can see what the seats look like, and you can see what the front and rear armrests and center consoles look like with these prominent grab handles. So I'm just working my way from front to rear and just embellishing those details. Having designed a very nice interior for this off-road vehicle has enabled me to remove the doors, the side glass, and so I now envision this as a completely open air concept with an extremely low belt line, an extremely low cowl position, so that you have this unparalleled visibility as you're crawling off-road or running the sand dunes at high speeds. So this would be a very, very engaging vehicle to drive. And it has this integrated roof rack which rests just above the structure of the headliner. Now I'm going in and you can see I have these floating elements for armrests which float just above a center spine console that runs through the entire length of the interior, which houses a large battery pack. And so I chose the center spine configuration for the battery because typically a battery electric SUV has the battery under the floor, like Tesla Model X, for example. However, that really limits your ground clearance. And so in this case, I wanted true off-road capable ground clearance. So I put the battery as sort of a tunnel, center tunnel between the seats, rather than below the floor. You can see also a lot of the functional details of this interior are painted in this bright red. So, for example, the grab handles for the driver and passengers, some of the other functional bits around the vehicle have this bright red appearance, which gives it a very sort of sportsman-like quality. The seats are a two-piece bucket design with a front padding in a very light molded vinyl material, and then something that would be very easy to clean. Just hose it down, and then a hard plastic backing material for the back of the seat in a very, very dark finish. You can see I've also added some reference lines for the perspective, so I can make sure that I maintain the coordination of perspective between all of these different visual elements. So working in Gravity Sketch has really enabled me to think spatially and holistically, and to create a vehicle with a complete picture of the interior and exterior together. Being able to design in full size while immersed in the environment with the vehicle has really been transformational for me. And I mean, just being able to sit in a driver's seat and literally design the car around you, it's just been absolutely transformational. So I highly recommend it, that everyone consider investing in Gravity Sketch, invest in VR headgear, which is becoming quite affordable. You can get an Oculus Quest headset for about $300, and Gravity Sketch is quite affordable as well. So it's the cost of entry is really light, and the learning curve is really easy. And so there's just so many things you can do with it, and I think it's going to be absolutely transformational for the auto industry. So as you can see, the pencil sketch layers is just adding that extra bit of illustrated hand sketched quality, takes it away further and further from looking computer generated. And so that's a fairly complete sketch overlay layer. And so what I'm going to do now is bring back the opacity of the original data image to about 85%. Then I'm going in with a noise brush, a noise texture brush, and that's just going to give everything a bit of texture. You know, most of the interior of the vehicle is textured in some way, and it just gives the image a much more hand sketched, tactile quality. You know, much more human quality. Takes it further away from looking computer generated, and so it's just something I like to do when I do interiors. Then adding a second layer, I'm going to be taking a white pencil tool and just starting to embellish some of the detailing throughout the interior. As you can see, I'm actually highlighting some of the edges of the rocker of the exterior. Just adding a little white highlight in certain areas just helps to bring the image to life. And you know, hard edges, you know, usually have a slight radius to them, so they catch a bit of light. And so that's just something a computer-generated image tends to miss. So then I'm just going in and just embellishing and adding additional clarity to some of those interior bits in the black trim areas. So you can see there's this A-pillar which runs down, you know, this trim that runs down the A-pillar, which crosses over, turns a corner, and becomes the structure that runs across the entire base of the windscreen. And there's no traditional instrument panel in the traditional sense. So that typical log that runs across the instrument, across the interior, it's not there. It's completely pushed away and pulled forward. And so all you have is the steering wheel, a basic gauge cluster, and just a minimal sort of binnacle that houses the steering column, floats off the back wall, the firewall of the interior. As you can see, I've taken the white pencil and I've just embellished the rim of the steering wheel and the center sort of hexagonal shape of the hub of the steering wheel. Just adding some additional highlighting to the armrest. Just adding a bit of a white highlight there. Adding a bit more highlighting to the seats, you know, just to give the seats a bit more definition. And then using the white pencil tool, I'm just giving some highlights to the backs of the seats to give the impression that they have this sort of faceted shape that wraps around the bolster. Then I'm adding some additional highlighting to the grab bars. So these would be some kind of a glossy painted material. Make them look like they're made of metal. You can really grab them. You can see how very quickly you can generate an image that has a very hand sketch illustrated quality, has a much more emotional appeal to it, and really helps to sell the concept. So thanks for watching, and I hope you'll join me next time on CARDESIGN.ACADEMY.